If you're considering putting off what you know you need to do for another day, honestly, it's your life. Do whatever you want, right? But let me show you a reason as to why that might not be in your best interest. That introduction was Charlie Morgan, Sam Within style. Nevertheless, you, others. Let me explain what I mean when I say that. I'm going to explain it through a story. Wait, where is my pen? I can't find. I'm not prepared for this, am I? 2023. Hopefully that's not flipped on camera. 2023, I was working at Amazon. Specifically, I'm talking about September. I mentioned this date and this logistic because I decided in September 23 to start a business. I decided to start a business in September 2023, but I didn't take any action. In fact, let me make this a equals. I didn't take any action until January 2024. September, October, November, December, January. So I waited 5 months, or I prepared for 5 months before I started my business. Hold on, stay with me. Why is that a bad idea? Because in that 5 months, in my head, I was preparing for the moment when I decided to start the business. I was preparing heavily. I was reading documents, I was taking course contents, I was doing everything I needed to do to start. Why was I doing that? Because I was scared. I thought by preparing, excessively preparing, compulsively preparing, I thought by doing that, I wouldn't encounter any problems. Because that's what it is. Anytime we are scared to take action on a new endeavor or anything we feel like we need to prepare for, it's because we don't want to avoid any problems, because we fear the unknown. This scaredness, this fear is of the unknown. And that comes down to everything. Anything you're looking to start, what you're not acquainted with whatsoever, anything what elicits a feeling of unknowing, of uncertainty, whether it be a new hobby, a new job, a business, starting a gym, whatever it is, because there's problems that you're going to encounter, things you're not aware of that you cannot prep for until you start. Theory versus experience. Why do I write this out? Because we feel like if we prepare everything in theory, that when it comes to the experience, we're not going to encounter any problems, but it couldn't be further from the truth. Because most of the time, what actually happens, and the reason why doing rarely any sort of theory or prep beforehand, doing anything new, the reason why it's not really the best idea is because there's something called a reticular activation system, R.A.S. This is your selective focus. And if you're anything like me, when you're learning in theory, your reticular activation system, so your selective focus, which is the part in your brain what focuses on what's important to it. If you're anything like me, when you're learning an endeavor and you haven't actually got any experience in a field yet, what happens is your R.A.S. has nothing to focus on. So for my example, I took a whole course, I learned loads of content, I watched loads of videos on the business model that I was looking to endeavor into, yet because my R.A.S. had nothing to focus on, all of that information kind of went straight through me. Now, it wasn't all in vain, it wasn't a complete waste of time, but none of it really sunk in until I started to take action, encounter problems, and solve those problems. Because the good thing about taking action is when you take actions and then encounter a problem, what happens, and this is so crucial, you become problem aware. Problem aware is as simple as what it says. You're aware of the problem. So what happens now is your reticular activation system has something to fixate onto. So when you now go and learn in theory, it's not actually in theory because you've took the action, you've got to a roadblock, you've become problem aware, and now you can easily solve that problem. Now, if we go back to learning in theory, how can we learn anything if we haven't taken action and then become problem aware? There's no way. You might be thinking, okay, cool, I understand that intellectually, but whatever, right? You've got to understand this to the extent where it shifts your perception and you apply what I've just said to all areas of your life where you've not taken action. Anytime you've not taken action and you've got a story as to why you've done that, you need to now take what I've said, apply this story, this perspective to that past action, and that will change your whole life, if that makes sense. Another thing as well, what's important and the reason why you should start, whether it be you're contemplating quitting your job or whatever it is you need to do, another idea is to go all in. So when I had the safety of my job and I was still working and I was still getting that paycheck and I was comfortable and I had that employee mindset and it was being reinforced through that paycheck, it was impossible for me to focus on my business because I've got the safety of a job still there. So I didn't actually start to really pay attention to what it is I'm learning with the business and really start trying to become profitable and really learning what it is I need to know inside the business until I quit my job. This isn't for everyone. The idea of going all in isn't for everyone. But what happens is when you do so, your reticular activation system actually pays attention now to what it is you're trying to pursue because you realize you've just burnt the bridge. There's no going back now. So that plan B, that sense of security, that sense of comfort, which was shielding your vision, is gone. So now you've got to figure this out or you're screwed. But your body's not really going to allow you to be screwed. So it's just going to pay attention ferociously to what it is you've got going on. The idea of going all in. Like I said, this isn't for everyone. And I'm not advising people to go quit their job and go all in on the business because you've got to have self-awareness. If you're not good at figuring things out, I don't know. I just thought I'd mention this because that's something I did. I want to tie everything I've said in now with the idea that there's people out there who are 15 years old and yet have a 1 million net worth. In other words, there are young people who are successful and who are making money online. How is that? We look at these young people online and we admire them. We think, oh, wow, like, I wish I could have done that. That's amazing. That's so impressive. The kid's a genius. The kid's talented. It's not necessarily that they are talented. It's because they've had more time in the game. They've had more time in. The only difference between the 15-year-old who's a millionaire and the 20-year-old you, the 25-year-old you, the 30-year-old you, the 40-year-old you, who doesn't have any money, who doesn't have the level of success that 15-year-old has, he decided to go all in. He decided. He didn't push it off until the next day. He actually thought, okay, I'm going to figure this out. He understands that, oh wait, if I wait till tomorrow, I'm not going to actually go down the path of getting closer to the thing I actually want. And people get really good at this. They get really good at pushing off what they know they need to do because they're under this illusion that there's more time, that they're infinite, they're immortal for somehow. Most people have a disconnect from their future self. They have a disconnect from their sense of mortality, so they're not able to take action on what it is they know they need to do. Yet, these people who are 8, 9, 10, who figure this out, they think, okay, cool, I'm going to take action. And so they get to encounter that experience of encountering problems, becoming problem aware, solving that problem and moving forward. Because if you do that just for 6 months, it will be insane the amount of progress you can make. The amount of progress I've made this year, like watch my first YouTube video. Listen to how I'm speaking, listen to how I'm talking, and then contrast that to me now. It's a night and day difference just because I decided to take action. I did, I became problem aware, I solved the problem, and I kept moving forward. This is a rock, right? This is an obstacle, this is a boulder in the way. We solve it, we become problem aware, and we move on to the next boulder, and we move forward. And then we move on to the next boulder, and we move forward. And then, we keep moving on. But what happens is, you was here, I was here in January 2024, but now even now, only in September 2024, I am here now. This is night and day progress, but it can only happen when you decide to take that action. This is only scratching the surface on this concept. There's the idea of manifestation and impressing your subconscious mind into taking new action, which I'm not going to talk about today because I feel like you probably already know about that. The fact that 95% of your actions stem from your unconscious mind, your emotional mind, emotional intelligence. This is why you've got loads of smart people, high IQ, intellectual people, people going to university getting all these complex degrees and all sorts of different malarkey, but they don't have EQ. They don't have the right things in their unconscious mind. They don't have the right belief systems. They don't have the right emotional intelligence to be able to act on the things that are actually going to produce the most results. The idea of the 80-20 principle. I'm not saying here that taking action is easy, because it isn't. But it's rewarding when you get the thing that you've actually been seeking out. The attainment of the thing, this is the thing. You see how the thing doesn't actually look that cool, whether it be £1 million or a sculpted body or a new job promotion. The thing itself isn't that cool. The coolest part, let me get my green pen out. The coolest part You see how you've transitioned now? You've woken up and you've become the person who was once the others. The coolest thing about attaining the thing that you think you want so bad is not the thing in itself, it's becoming the kind of person who has that kind of thing in their reality. So now this is you. Congratulations.